for joining us today on Millennial Talk, where we discuss issues affecting millennials and give recommendations on how to deal with them. In the month of June, happy new month by the way, in the month of June, we discussed, it was a techie tech month, just like Josephine said. It was a techie tech month where we discussed different issues across tech. We discussed edutech and the role technology has to play in education. We also gave tools and resources on how to improve yourself in your education. And we also discussed how to use online tools to improve your job search. We had Funke Onofie of CV Loft discuss that with us. Last week, we also discussed the importance of women being interested in tech. And we had Ifedolakwa Lawal of Afrinovate, a fintech company. But before I go on, I'm going to introduce Josephine. Hi, Josephine.
Hi guys. I mean, you're actually right. It's been a techie tech month, but yeah, this is, this is July and we're kind of, taking it in a different, direction.
Yeah.
And we are going to be talking about the unemployment market basically. But that's literally not what we're doing the whole of this month. But, this month is a bit more,
Different.
It's a bit more different. But,
Yeah.
anyways, like Bukunmi said, we're not going to have this conversation alone. Last week was an interesting conversation, and we definitely know that today is going to be another one. So, guys, we have, try to take a guess of where we are at the moment.
You can imagine, just guess.
Take a guess about, okay, so we are at Jobberman, and today we're going to be discussing how millennials can know how to find a job the right way.
And common mistakes, we said we're going to be focusing on common mistakes millennials make when they are looking for a job. And where else, if not here, to discuss that.
Yeah. I mean, with us to have the conversation today, we have Idris Abdulgafar. Welcome to the show.
Hi guys, welcome.
Thank you. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Discuss, about the common mistake millennials make. And I'm sure you've had experience at the head of HR in Jobberman. I'm sure you've had several experiences with job search, job applicants, and the mistakes they make. So that's what we just want to clarify for us and just share the details and give us the pour. Yeah, exactly.
So for the very first question for today, it would be, give us a brief introduction of yourself and tell us a bit about your journey in the job search space.
Okay, my name is Idris Abdulgafar. I'm head of human resources at Jobberman. I would say that with job search, talent acquisition, I've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years.
Wow, long time.
Yes, somewhat similarly. In my previous employment, I used to be the talent acquisition partner for the organization I used to work with before.
Okay.
So, I mean, the core for that was, getting the right talent for the organization at the time. So definitely, I think that's like a brief summary of my experience with, job search, talent acquisition, and that market.
Okay, so is there anything that inspired you to, or have you always been an HR person? Is there anything that inspired you to, go into this space?
I would say that it was a course I took in my 3rd year as an undergraduate. It was on personal administration, and I think that was my first interaction with human resource, and I felt, okay, this is something I would definitely want to have as my career path, and that's how I told into it.
Okay.
Wow, that's really interesting. But the first question a job seeker would ask is, I've been sending applications. I've done everything everybody said I should do. I've ticked all the boxes, but I'm still not getting a call back. What exactly am I doing wrong?
Social media parlance would say someone should cut soap for you now.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly. It's not soap for me. Exactly. Show me the way. When I see this money.
But I think that, why people might not get called back, there are a plethora of reasons in my opinion.
Okay.
One might be, you're not applying for the right jobs.
Okay.
And I know that, trust me, the unemployment rate is high in the country.
Yes.
A lot of people are unemployed, people are looking for jobs. So there is the general tendency to want to just shoot your applications for just any job or every job you see.
Yeah.
I think that the first mistake would be, trying to be really, really decisive and tailored in your approach. What sort of jobs am I looking for, right? And you start to apply for those jobs. Now, beyond, applying for those jobs, you now start to think of other areas to your application that might also be making it hard, right? Your resume, do you have a generic resume and sending one same bland CV for all the jobs that you're applying to?
Okay.
Is it possible for you to have a custom-made resume, take out keywords in your resume to ensure that it ties to the job you're applying to? How well are you networking with people within the industry or within the space that you're looking to get a job in? Oh, you want to get a job in tech and you have no connections, you are not reaching out to people. Now,
You
that's
don't
not to
attend
say
events.
you don't attend events, you don't, so that's not to say that, just that would suffice, but it's also good because sometimes information doesn't necessarily feed into all the channels you assume that it feeds into. So there's always a space for, professional relationships that people can cultivate, and that might also help in the job search.
Wow, that's interesting.
Okay, so as you've laid out all that, I think the right question to ask next would be, as an HR person, like you said, you've had 5 years of experience. What are the common errors that you have noticed that a lot of job seekers make that hinder them from, qualifying for a job opportunity?
One would be, again, the first point of interaction almost any recruiter would have with a candidate, most cases, is your resume.
Yes.
So now I'm looking at the CV and it is one, either bland or it doesn't capture the entirety of your experience. And people always assume that, how do you couch your experience if you've not done some kind of job to fit what you're looking for? People assume, if I don't do a 9 to 5 and maybe I've been an entrepreneur, then it means I can't write that in my resume, but that's a lie.
Yeah.
I think those are called transferable skills.
Exactly. So, how it all boils down to how best you find how to write out your resume. So I think the first mistake for me is, the resumes. Second thing is your application. In the event that, you're applying for a role, please do your research. In my past life, someone had sent someone sent an email to apply for a job, and the person copied 5 other organizations, and I'm like, okay, so you're shooting your shots to everybody.
Shoot your shots.
I'm like, okay, great, makes a lot of sense, but most times, for some other people, I'm like, oh, you know what, you can't be deliberate enough to send me an email and you send this to me and you copy 5 other companies. And
not
it's not
even a blind copy.
No, straight email to 5 people. I'm like, okay, so we should.
So what do you want me to do?
We should
share. So I think that quick mistakes would be, your resume. And there are also, red flags. Very, very tiny things that people do not also take note of. Typographical errors in your resume. The flow, dates not aligning properly. And all of that. So your resume, your online presence, the application you put for, try to also ensure that you get enough information when applying for jobs. I think that those 3 would.
I think you're very right, and it boils down to every little details actually. Basically, like the person could have just taken it from copy to blind copy, but they probably did not even know the blind copy function in the first place. Might have even been a problem. I think it's essential. That's why we actually talked about tech, how to use tech properly when you're doing your job search. It's quite important.
You said something about experience, how transferable skills, but we've seen situations where job offers will ask you for 5 years experience. And you're a fresh graduate. Yes, and you're a fresh graduate. Or entry level. In fact, I've seen very demanding entry level jobs. They tell you, for example, basic research, and they tell you have to have ICANN in view, something. There's this professional course.
CFA.
CFA in view. How do you expect a fresh graduate who might not even have the money to start or to register for those kind of courses? How do you expect them to even, have those in view? But also, how do you think fresh graduates especially, can, leverage skills? Something you said something about people don't know that they have some skills. How do you think they can, overcome the challenge of this demand of work experience, outrageous work experiences?
Okay, I would say that at the end of the day, the core reason why people are employing whoever it is they're employing is to provide some value to the organization in whatever context, right? So the question now becomes, what differentiates Olu from
Tayo.
Tayo at the end of the day? We are both graduated from the university. We both have first-class degrees. We studied accounting. Now I need to hire one person. The typical assumption would be, if Olu has ICANN, maybe that might give him a leg in,
edge,
right?
yeah.
So I would say that the approach to this will be two-pronged, right? There will be the part for, employers, right, to also ensure that we are not asking for outrageous things, or we are not demanding for outrageous things from fresh graduates. Now, the second bit will also be, for fresh graduates, what more can you
Do you have
offer?
to offer?
How are you positioning yourself for these opportunities? Are you considering volunteering? Are you considering internships? I know someone who, there are a lot of cases, a lot of examples you could point out to. Someone who says, oh, you know what, I really want to work in human resource, for example, and I don't have the experience. Can I intern? Can I volunteer? You reach out to people, and trust me, a lot of people are nice. A lot of people are not as wicked as people assume. Oh, you know what? Can you give me an opportunity to intern at your firm? Can I volunteer my skills or my time to learn XYZ skills? Now, I also understand that, our circumstances would always be different.
Yeah.
Some people have the opportunity and leverage to, go through that path, and some might not particularly have that. So it will be on, for job seekers and fresh graduates to also consider tiny things. For those who are still maybe in university at the point in time, what are you spending your 3 months holiday on? What are you spending your long-term vax on?
Yeah, that's important.
Can you start to consider this tiny bit? Okay, you might not have the money to pay for professional certifications just yet, but can you ask someone for an internship opportunity? Can you help someone on a project? Can you help someone with your skills, with your time? And all of these things, document it properly in your resume. Oh, I had a 3-month graduate internship doing XYZ. And that's how people, you get all of this experience, and you have this leverage to also, apply for jobs.
Thank you very much. I believe you've learned a lot so far. We're going on a short commercial break, and when we return, we'll continue the conversation.
You've created an FCMB Business Zone merchant account. Fantastic! An important way to make the most of your merchant account is by listing your products and services on your profile. Nothing beats letting your customers know what your business is all about and the values you offer. To upload your products and services on the Business Zone, follow these quick and easy steps. Log into your Business Zone merchant account. On the left sidebar of your dashboard, click on Offered Services drop-down, then Manage Offered Services. Click on Add Service to add your service. Don't have a Business Zone merchant account yet? Please visit businesszone.fcmb.com/signup to create one. For technical support, please send an email to smehelpdesk@fcmb.com. Upload your products and services on the Business Zone today and make the most of the new opportunities to expand your business.
CMB, my bank and I.
And we are back. So we'll be going on with the conversation. Josephine, over to you.
Okay, so I believe that a lot of job seekers will be thinking, okay, so you've mentioned a lot of things that I should do. What are the things that I should not do?
Yeah.
So I want you to list for us like 5 do nots, 5 do nots that once job seekers should never ignore. 5 do nots, just 5.
One would be your online presence, right? Do not have a bland online presence. Okay. Now, the quickest form in terms of social media channels for job seekers would always be LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, of course.
So how recent is your profile? Is it up to date? Have you been able to also populate it with right information about you to help someone make the decision? That's one. 2, do not go into an interview unprepared. Please don't. That would also mean, doing your research properly on the job, on the role itself, as well as the organization. 3, do not slander your previous employers.
I think
that's not to say that
you have a bad experience.
Again.
No, and I think cancel culture has made that thing very popular. Everybody just says whatever they like on Twitter. Just go on Twitter and say, oh, I worked with so this person was bad, and start to call out people. But where do you draw the line? But I know we're deviating, but where do you draw the line between something that is really bad, like she mentioned, and trying not to slander.
So here's the thing, right? There would always be personal interpretation of how a situation or an organization played out for your experience with the organization. Now, it's on you to also know that there is, something called emotional intelligence,
Okay.
right? How do you find the balance in counseling an organization and slandering the organization?
Okay.
What information do I need to share in a conversation? What do I need to, take away? Some people have had terrible experiences with terrible bosses, and in interviews that will never feature, that will never come up, right? There's also the cue for, how do you position yourself and how you sell yourself and your experiences. So if you're going into a conversation, of course you might have had, previous experience with terrible bosses, terrible organizations, and you can just say, oh, you know what, I choose not to speak about this. If a question ever features around that, oh, you know what, I think I wouldn't want to talk about that. Oh, why? Oh, confidentiality reasons. No recruiter would say, if you don't tell me this, you're not going
I
to leave this
think so.
conversation.
That's true.
Yes.
Because again, some of these things also, leave terrible feelings with people. People have post-traumatic stress from some conversations or some experiences they've had.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
as a recruiter, as long as it's not a requirement for the job, you can easily
just let it
delve.
go.
Yeah, you can let it go.
Okay, so we have 2 more do nots to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Two more. One will be, do not provide false information on your resume.
Okay.
Okay.
There's always the need to sell
Some people
yourself.
exactly, that's what I was just about to
Yeah,
say.
there's
Some people
always
like, okay,
big words.
so
No,
I
yeah.
have this thing I'm doing very soon, but let me just put it,
Of course, that works.
Okay.
But as long as you're striking the balance in providing good enough information about yourself, that's fine.
Right.
But lying and falsifying information, it's not a good look for you as a professional
Okay.
in whatever context that you might think of it.
It actually happened, some time ago, but whoever is watching might find out, in-house where somebody said, oh, they had worked, somewhere.
But they hadn't.
And they said they worked on a report. And the person, they sent their CV to, called the organization. Of course, the job applicant didn't know that they knew each other in the same space, in the same, financial space. So the person now called to confirm, did this person actually work on this report? Because it's actually important to if you worked on that report, it's important to your,
Organization.
to the organization and your application. And we're all like, no, this person not work on this, person not work on this. And that was just the end for the person. So lying can have serious consequences.
It's how you sell yourself.
Facilitated.
Yes, exactly.
Something.
Facilitated, supported, aligned.
That's
there are
better.
so you can
I
think of it.
supported. I did the minimal work there. I did the cover page,
Or
specific.
co-authored or something.
Something
Think
like
of
that.
creative ways to provide that information without lying.
Okay.
So again, it also boils down to how you write your resume.
Right. Funny thing is, I've heard a lot of these different do nots, and sometimes it comes to gender, it comes to, making a simple compliment at an interview. So we're not really talking about just before the job process. We're talking about interview.
Yes.
And when you just get a job, because when you just get a job, you're like on a probationary period.
So like, what are other errors? Interview process.
Interview errors. The final bit would be, we've already spoken about preparedness.
Yes,
right?
preparation.
I think the final bit would just be, you said something about comments, right?
Comments.
I think that please don't go into a conversation and you start to pass the wrong message to your interviewers. If you ever feel like, oh, you know what, this panelist is a really beautiful woman or very handsome, please
smell nice.
Again, find the right way to say some things or context.
You might mean it in a good way, but it might look bad to
Go
that
off
person.
as wrong.
Yes, it might go
come
off as
off
wrong.
yeah.
So just find, what it is think of what it is you're about to say within the context of the conversation and what you think can get, misconstrued. So, and just don't do that, please.
Okay.
Just keep it professional and polite.
So I'm trying to bring in this because a lot of job seekers, they are confused about what to wear to an interview. Since you're a very professional platform and you've had a long-term experience doing this, do you think that your physical appearance matters, or how do you think people could position? Because I feel like sometimes when you walk into a place, people already can just like feel
Look at you. Yeah.
Whatever comes out of your mouth afterward might determine, you know, how the end of the conversation would be. But sometimes I
Assess
feel,
you.
so as a professional in this field, do you think that an appearance or appearance generally is very important to a job interview?
I mean, beyond just even job interviews, general life conversations, appearance would always inform people's perceptions of you. That's a given, right? But now within the context of, you know, professional conversations and interviews and all of that, I think that people should also find how best to dress. And yes, your appearance would always, you know, inform the next person's view that, okay, you know what, we're having a conversation, it's supposed to be an interview, and you walk in feeling or dress, assuming that it's not a serious
What is
conversation.
this tech rules? Because I know tech guys do that a lot.
Again,
Yeah,
Just
but
dressing,
still,
you know.
It is
I
role
still
specific, right?
You
But
know,
if someone walks into an interview wearing
a sneakers and a
no,
shirt.
that can even fly.
I've seen- 'cause I know-
that can even fly.
I mean, I've seen a situation whereby someone was coming for the job of a manager. Now, it wasn't a tech space, so it didn't require, when you are on the job, it doesn't require to move, but just for one day, it wouldn't kill, you know? Because I feel like, I'm just saying from my perspective, though,
Yes.
because if I'm an employer, I'm not even in the busy business space, but if I'm trying to employ somebody and the person walks in with a pair of scruffy jeans and I'm like,
What's
it's
going
an
on here?
interview. I don't like, that's why I'm asking from your perspective, because I want to learn, because I feel like it doesn't matter what space you're going into, when you are going for an interview, be appropriate and look nice. That's
Just
my perspective.
Do your research on the organization, understand what their culture is like, and that might also inform, you know, your decision on what to wear.
Great.
You can never really go wrong with business casual. Trust me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Just
can never
keep
really
it
go wrong
Yeah,
with
business
business
true. I've
casual.
never gone wrong with it.
And if you think that there are certain organizations or sectors or industries that are, you know, traditional in some manners, so you're applying for a role in the financial services space, please do well to wear your shirt and tie.
Of course.
That would be the general assumption. You're applying for a role within tech. If you think, oh, you know what, I don't want to wear a shirt and tie, okay, turtleneck,
And a suit, jacket.
and jacket and sneakers or something.
Right.
So again, that might also inform what you choose to wear or what industry is this role in. But beyond that, just business casual, you really can never go wrong with it.
Right. That brings me to this question. Since I don't know how many people you've interviewed all your life, but it kind of just makes me want to ask this question because I had the particular experience when a couple of people came for an interview, and while this guy came in and he was sweating and he was smelling, and even if his paper was good, I was not interested at that moment. Do you understand? So I know that you probably had some crazy experience. So what has been like your most memorable, good or bad? It doesn't have to be good or bad.
Yeah.
Like, what has been the most memorable experience for you?
Good or bad, good or bad, good or bad, good or bad. Bad would be, again, you mentioned body odor.
Terrible. Trust me. It is terrible.
And it's in the, small things, it's in the little things, right? Details, paying attention to details.
Yeah.
And, personal grooming is also important.
Yeah.
You can never, make that a trivial situation. Always, please, these things are
nice.
try to. But crazy experience. There was one time, some candidates walked into the room. Now, again, you could have, people's circumstances are always different. So if you had to maybe, get on the bus or something to get to the interview, and you're maybe sweating and all of that, and you feel, some organizations will typically have toiletries in their restroom. So go in, freshen up, use the mouthwash and all of that. Take a minute if you need to rest, feel refreshed, then go into the conversation. But I think that time, the candidate walked in and I think the body odor was really terrible. So, while for me, right, I understood it within the context of
maybe boss jumping bosses and everything.
Anything could even happen,
Yeah.
or maybe this person's hormones sweat a lot and all of that. But someone is that more, I don't think I can sit at this panel and like calm down, come on. It's a 30-minute
Exactly. That's
conversation.
already okay. I feel like it's important because some people have lost job opportunities due to very trivial things like that. Like you said, it's in the little things, and these little things sometimes go a long way.
Yeah, but I think that, you know, people should also be empathetic to people's situations, right? So as much as you can also fault someone for maybe personal grooming errors, think of the long-term rationale for the conversation before making that decision.
I understand.
This is it. If this were a talent and you're looking to hire the person, it also, you know, it feeds into the experience. Now, not all interviews will lead into jobs or job offers, that much I know. But some of these conversations would also help sell your brand as an organization to work for.
True.
And this person would leave the room feeling good. That, oh, you know what, I had a conversation with this organization, and even though I didn't get the job, I would easily always refer this guy. And that's how, you know, organizations' value propositions will get sold within the labor space. So I think, great organization to work for. So yeah, think of all of these things before making decisions.
Okay. All right.
That's really interesting. You know, going back to, you know, you said something about the interview process. Not everybody ends up getting interviewed. But, you know, in order to get interviewed, we know about the applicant tracking system and a software that, you know, just, what's that word now? Filters, yeah, exactly. Filters, you know, CVs and stuff. So how do job applicants ensure their, you know, CV gets past the, you know, the system?
The focus for the tracking system, right, is to ensure that it creates a pool of resumes that, quote and unquote, you can say are the best match or best fit for the role. So you're applying for a role, and part of the details on the job description, you see something around, let's just assume, right, talent acquisition or financial modeling. Let's assume that's a keyword. Now, on your resume, in the places where you're listing your skills, or in the entirety of your resume, there is nothing that says financial modeling. I'm using this as a very, very generic example.
I understand.
Now, if the tracking system is filtering based on keywords, your resume does not have financial modeling written at any point in the entirety of the resume. The quickest assumption would be to think that your resume will not get shortlisted. And that's literally what it is. So the rationale basically is a tracking system gathers resumes as a pool, tries to filter based on the parameters that the recruiter is looking out for, which is, of course, competencies, skills required for the job. And
Experience.
Because maybe you apply, you send your, you put out a job ad and you're looking for something or some role, and you get 5,000 resumes. It is tasking for the person to go
through everything.
But if I put in all my keywords and I just click filter, and it shortlists more than half, it gives me the half that has all of these keywords in. So for beating that system would be, you know, look at the job that you're about to apply for. What are the keywords in the job description? Ensure that you find a way to tie that into what you're putting out in your resume, just so, and that also goes back to the conversation of your resume. You can't have a generic resume for every application. It won't cut it in some cases.
Right. That's actually quite important.
You have to tailor your resume according to the job you are applying for. Okay, very important. So, you know, going back to the interview thing, there's this almighty question that is always asked. Tell us about yourself. So how should a job applicant answer that question?
Keep it short first. Your response should be short, concise. And the details that people need, very simple. Your name, your experience, where you've worked, basically, and the skills that you might have. Also, you say, if you're using me as an example, well, hi, and you tell me to tell you about myself in an interview. My name is Idris Abdulgafar. I have 7 years experience in human resource management with skills in talent acquisition, human resource strategy. I have a degree in human resource and political science. I've told you enough to make the decision. I've told you my name.
Okay.
I've told you the years of experience I have. I've told you what I have skills in. I've told you my educational background in less than 1 minute.
1 minute.
And that's as short, as concise as it can be.
All right, right about now, we'll be taking another short break. And as we go on this break, we'll be back to wrap up the conversation. Stay with us.
You've created an FCMB Business Zone merchant account. Fantastic! An important way to make the most of your merchant account is by listing your products and services on your profile. Nothing beats letting your customers know what your business is all about and the values you offer. To upload your products and services on the Business Zone, follow these quick and easy steps. Log into your Business Zone merchant account. On the left sidebar of your dashboard, click on Offered Services drop-down, then Manage Offered Services. Click on Add Service to add your service. Don't have a Business Zone merchant account yet? Please visit businesszone.fcmb.com/signup to create one. For technical support, please send an email to smehelpdesk@fcmb.com. Upload your products and services on the Business Zone today and make the most of the new opportunities to expand your business.
CMB, my bank and I.
All right, guys, we are back. And yes, we still have our guest here, Idris Abdulgafar. So back to the questions. So I feel like job seekers, when they're like looking for jobs, there's a lot of questions to be answered, and we have covered a lot of these questions. So my next question is, how does your brand, Jobberman, how does it intend to continue to impact the life of job seekers? Just as you said, an organization, impacting the lives of people, not just looking at what is happening at the moment, but also focusing on, okay, there's potential here. We might not need this person at the moment, but we can help tell the person, like, oh, you know what? If you did this on that, you might get the next job. So what is Jobberman doing to continue to impact the lives so far?
For me, I would say that for people who are conversant with our brand, they will know that there are a lot of quote unquote benefits that you reap for just staying tuned and watching the brand. With the years of experience we have within this space and the partnerships we've been able to acquire over time, there are several fun ways in which we constantly look out to impact the organization as well as the space that we're operating in. One of the things that we've been doing, we've been championing recently in the last 2 years is our soft skills training.
Yeah, I think I saw that a lot.
And that's just one end to the stick, right? We are trying to also get young Nigerians upskilled within the next 5 years. So that started 2020, and we are running that to 2025, as well as also placing people, millions, in jobs. So that's one of the fun things that we're constantly looking out for. Because for us, what matters more is impact. How are we ensuring that we're providing the right legacy to ensure that we constantly help the Nigerian space with the issues around unemployment. And there are softer elements and also softer things that we also do on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. There are the constant sessions we have for job seekers as well as employer partners, just so we constantly upskill people. We have conversations around almost anything. There are blog posts on our website that also help in improving the knowledge base of the people. So yes, for us, impact matters a lot, and that also informs all of the things that we constantly put out in terms of our strategic initiatives to ensure that people get upskilled, people get placed. And that's why for everything that you can think of, we have well over 60,000 employer partners.
Wow.
And we have over 2 million job seekers registered on our platform. Again, that also speaks to the trust that people have in the brand. And we've been able to constantly deliver value to people for years.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's actually amazing. That's interesting. I think if you're watching this, you need to sign up to the newsletters, because I think I get the newsletters every day, updates and stuff like that.
For us, it's important because, beyond, profit, impact matters a lot.
Yeah,
and that's the reason why we're doing what it is that we do. How can we help get the next person to get that job? Position them and provide opportunities for them to find the next opening and the next career.
Finally, the job seeking process can be very tedious, very emotionally draining, and very depressing. So how does a job seeker stay motivated, stay encouraged, in this whole process till when they, achieve what they want?
there are no, easy routes around it or easy situations or solutions to these things beyond, understanding that it's a process. First off, and again, understanding that, motivation is innate at the same time. You would always have that moment or those moments where you feel like, you know what, I'm tired, I'm just going to drop my bat. But just trust the process, trust the fact that, there would always be that opening that you find. And just don't lose hope. Now, also explore the right channels so you don't get, swindled, you don't get defrauded, you don't get
exactly.
caught up in situations or places where you feel like, man, I should have just been patient a bit.
Yeah.
So by exploring the right channels, Jobberman.com, verify. Of course, I mean, there are verified jobs, and it's also one of the things we constantly ensure we do, right? Ensure that all the jobs we put up on our platform are verified. In exploring the right channels again, other channels that you might think of, finding jobs, network, speak to the right people, and just trust the process. Attend
Industry
events.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Yes,
So, who is Idris Abdulgafar outside work? So tell us the other side people don't get to see every day.
I think that for those who know me, it would be, I might have been able to tell both of you, or show both of you that I'm introverted. I like my space a lot.
I can tell.
So outside work.
So what do you do for fun? At least introverted people at least have fun sometimes.
Exactly.
Netflix, book, glass of wine, basically.
Right.
That's about it.
Right.
That's
Any
interesting.
special talents? Like you sing, you dance, you can just sing for us, like sing us a lullaby right now.
If I sing right now, I'm sure you wouldn't want to sleep.
Yes, just
Literally, it's just going to start to tremble.
Okay.
But no special skills beyond
Wow, that was an interesting conversation.
All right,
Thanks,
guys, it has been a very wonderful conversation, and we do hope that you've enjoyed it as well. Well, if you have not watched our previous episodes, you can go to our website on www.proshare.com/webtv and keep up with all the latest episodes. Keep watching.